Mali's Islamic Council has voiced its approval of the deployment of French troops and criticised Gulf States and Qatar in particular for not doing enough to fight the Islamists who were in control of the north of the country.
We were shocked to hear the views of some leaders, especially in Islamic countries, in the Gulf countries, who think that the French deployment is an attack against Islam. We don't agree with those views. We think that, on the contrary, France offered its help to a people in distress, a people who had been abandoned by all Muslim countries. I'm thinking about Qatar, because the person who denounced the deployment and has the most influence in the Muslim world is currently in Qatar.
The views of Mali's Islamic Council are not isolated. In France recently there have been a growing number of reports which have suggested that energy-rich Qatar is fueling the Malian conflict and may even be supporting the rebels as it seeks to increase its influence in the region. The belief that Doha is financing the rebels is gaining momentum among French politicians, with far-right leader Marine Le Pen among the most vociferous critics of Qatar's alleged meddling. In a statement on the firebrand leader's website, Le Pen intimated that the Gulf state Qatar was in cahoots with the rebels by providing material and political support. The conspiracy theory has several threads, one of which critics of Qatar say is the exclusive presence of Qatari NGOs in northern Mali. Until last summer, the Qatari Red Crescent was the only humanitarian organization granted access to the vast territory. While ostensibly the Qatari Red Crescent's aims were to evaluate the humanitarian needs of the region in terms of water and electricity access, it is thought to be another arm in a murky network of Qatari institutions seeking to gain power and influence in Mali. Madrasas, schools where Islamist fundamentalism is taught to Malian children, and charities have also been funded by Doha, which has allegedly been trying to maneuver itself into pole position to work with and support an Islamist-ruled Mali, a country which has enormous amounts of gas, oil and precious substances like gold and uranium. Qatari influence has another potent weapon of influence in the shape of the popular Arabic news and current affairs TV channel Al Jazeera and some of its prominent hosts, such as Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Al-Qaradawi is an Egyptian Islamic scholar linked with the Muslim Brotherhood, seen by an estimated worldwide audience of 60 million on his weekly show Sharia and Life. The Doha-funded channel is particularly popular in Palestinian territories, where al-Qaradawi's anti-Semitic rants are relished. Doha's tentacles are not only increasingly visible in the Gaza Strip, where Qatar's Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani was recently greeted like a messiah on his visit to the Hamas-controlled territory, when the Emir's announcement of $400 million worth of investment ruffled feathers in Jerusalem. In Egypt too, Qatari cash has curried favor, with Muslim Brotherhood-controlled Cairo receiving a $2.5 billion lifeline earlier this month. Qatar's investments and shuttle diplomacy are being seen as part of a complex economic and political plan tied to a religious goal of uniting the Arab world by entrenching Doha at its center and by doing so beating its rival Saudi Arabia to become the center of Sunni Islam and ultimately to dominate the Shiite branches of the faith dominated by Iran too.